A very warm good morning to everyone. Hello, my name is Manisha, and here I'm going to start the topic Concept of Entrepreneurship. So, before starting with the concept of entrepreneurship, we're going to discuss about firstly, who is an entrepreneur? So, if I talk about the entrepreneur can be an individual who starts the business or a new business idea, and he is totally responsible or he is totally responsible for the development, risk, everything behind it. An individual who bear the risk or taking the risk in their business and face each and every uncertainty which is coming under their entire business development. So he or she can be an entrepreneur, one who organize, manage, or assume all the risk of the enterprise or all the risk of any kind of business. So he or she can be an entrepreneur. So accordingly, if we talk about what are the characteristics of entrepreneur, so there are the several characteristics. Here they are the some of them. First of all, what is mental ability? If I'm talking about the mental ability, it's totally depend upon the individual's creativity, the thinking ability. Means here, he or she is having a new business idea, so definitely he or she is going to analyze each and every problem or a situation in a very frequent or in a proper manner. If they should be able to participate in every kind of changes which is occurred in their business in the entire market, definitely it is considered as a mental ability. Now, if I talk about the next point, which is talking about the business secrecy. Business secrecy, definitely it's safeguard our business from our competitor itself. There are several competitors in the market. If I going to make a different or make a unique product or services behind it in our business or in our market, so definitely it's required to make a proper secrecy, which is not discussed in the market. Definitely there are several competitors who will take your idea, who will take your entire thought in their own businesses. So definitely it is the business secrecy. Clear objective. Next one is the clear objective, right? So here, if I talk about the person who is clear with their objective, definitely it will be clear when we will get to know about our SWOT analysis, which is talked about our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So definitely we can create or we can get to know about our objective or goal of our entire business nature. So it helps for doing certain thing. With the help of this, there is an characteristics, or we can say a feature of an entrepreneur. Next one is human relation. There should be a proper human relation with their customer, employees, or we can say the several employers who are with them or who are with those things. If I talk about the government, yes, there should be a proper human relation with the government itself also. So for maintaining a good relation, he or she should be emotionally stable. There should be a proper personal relation. There should be a proper consideration. Definitely then the human relation will be built, and accordingly your entire enterprise will run very fast or very rapidly. Next is communication ability. It's a very important characteristics over here. Without having this, any of entrepreneur can't be a sender or a receiver to understand the things or the messages which or the information which is provided to our employees, through which they can circulate the things to our middle level to the lower level. So definitely there should be a proper communication ability, or with the help of this ability there should be an effective communication there. It can be possible only if he or she is having a good communication skills. Next one is technical knowledge. If I talk about this technical knowledge, there should be a proper knowledge of their product and services. Then only technically he will sound or she will sound good, and he can tackle every kind of customer care services which is required more than their product or service, which can be the target to satisfy their customers' need. So these are some characteristics. If I talked about the other one, so if now we're going to know about the concept of entrepreneur and the characteristics of entrepreneur. So behind it, if I'm talking about the entrepreneur, the word entrepreneur is come from the French word, which says Entrepreneur Day. It means to undertake certain activity. What are those activities beside it? So there are several activities. The first one is the produce a product. We can say our services also, right? So accordingly, the entrepreneur should know what kind of product or services he or she should be produce. Next is sale and market the product or a services. It means how the entrepreneur will sell or marketing with the to the product in the entire business world. So definitely it is required more, because if we don't know how to use the proper marketing technologies or marketing strategies for our selling our product, definitely we can't be survive in the business world. So there should be a proper knowledge of business techniques which going to be considered as digital marketing and so and so and so on. So next one is bear overheads. This overheads comes from accounting. If you talk about in the business world, it is talked about the cost accounting. In the cost accounting, all the indirect things such as indirect expenses, indirect material and indirect labor. If the entrepreneur bear overheads, definitely it can deal the entire thing very easily. Then I talked about under here this, there are several things like if I talked about the examples of overheads. So there are several ones such as pay rent of building and if we talk about the land itself. So definitely they all are the indirect expenses which is going to be considered as overheads in the accounting system. Wages to labor, if I talked about the indirect labor such as sweepers, watchmen and the labor who are involved not directly with the manufacturing unit, indirectly with the organization itself. So interest on capital, whatsoever the investment is going to be start a new business, definitely there should be a proper interest on it. So definitely these are the indirect things which is considered as overheads. Accordingly, later on generate profits, as I talked about the profit and loss. So definitely in the very beginning, no one will thought about their product profits or services. Definitely they are not considering their profit or loss accounts in their very beginning, in the introductory stage. If I talked about the product life cycle, definitely they don't need in the very beginning, they don't require any growth, any kind of profit and loss. They have to firstly cover up all the investment cost which is involved in startup a new business. So that's why later word is there. Now in journal, I talked about the proper meaning throughout this. So if I talked about the proper definition which is provided by any author, definitely an entrepreneur is a person, as I know, that he or she is an individual who knows about the factor of production. If I talked about the factor of production, there is a man, labor, material, or there are several things in the production is used. So they all going to be known. ये हमें मालूम होना चाहिए. It should be there. Then I talked about the process of raw material, how the raw material will be converted into the finished product. So these things an entrepreneur should know. If these things are known by an entrepreneur, definitely here their utility, right, their selling of product, and accordingly later on he or she will be earn profits behind it. So each and everything the entrepreneur should know in where we will get the certain things. So there should be a proper planning behind it. So with this there is one line is quoted over here. This is a inner meaning of an entrepreneur, or an inner mindset of an entrepreneur, that the entrepreneur are made, not born. By birth it is not born. These are the skills which is developed in their education system. Accordingly, their thought process will change and he or she wants to be an entrepreneur. So it is totally made according to their mindset, according to their passion, which is required more and more behind it. Okay, so an entrepreneur are made only, not born. Now next, if I talked about the concept of entrepreneur, or we can say an quality of an entrepreneur. So there are several qualities which the entrepreneur should get by an uncertainty bearer, as we discussed earlier, that we have to think our uncertainty. We have to think our risk bearing, what kind of risk we will take in the entire journey of an entrepreneur or in their enterprise. An organizer, I talked about the function of management. A proper organizer should plan the all things, should decide the entire things which is going to be in a blueprint. Organizing, that means. Then next, in that there should be a proper staffing, how much staff is required, and accordingly what are the job roles behind it. So the proper recruitment, selection, training and development. Then after this, an innovator, this is an important aspect. So organizer, there is a proper 5 functions of management, that is organizing. If I talk about planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. So overall, an organizer should know about these things, or he or she get the things accordingly. Now, if I talked about an innovator, the innovator who is having a new creativity, new business idea, new thought of process which he or she going to be used in the entire business practices. The next is an change agent. An entrepreneur can be a distributor, can be a retailer, can be a wholesaler, manufacturer, or play a vital role, or we can say a different role accordingly. He can be a person who take an interview, who do in the very beginning he will do everything. He will be an owner of a company, he will be a HR of a company. So that's it. That's why a change agent is here. A creator of a new system, because an entrepreneur make a proper system, make a proper hierarchy or an organization structure of overall enterprise. Definitely he is a creator of a new system which is going to be considered by their own, right? So these are the, we can say, a proper concept, or we can say the proper quality of an entrepreneur, right? So I don't think there is any doubt behind it. If there is any doubt, then comment me on the same in the YouTube. Now next is classification of an entrepreneur. There are the several classification. First is innovative entrepreneur. Innovative entrepreneur is a person who introduce new things, who introduce new methodology, who introduce a new market, who introduce a new business, new organization. Definitely everything is new behind it. So this is an entrepreneur who is innovative entrepreneur. Next is imitative entrepreneur, or we can say an adoptive entrepreneur. It means here the word says that they copying the technology, they don't innovate the things. He just get to know the things from the jobs, or we can say with the help of several experiences which he or she is having. So accordingly, he is an entrepreneur, but can't you believe he is just copying the technology, he is just copying the other one's technique and start up a new business, right? So that kind of entrepreneurs are adoptive entrepreneur. Then if I talk about the meaning of entrepreneurship, here we are going to start. What do you mean by entrepreneurship? So the word entrepreneurship, as you know, to undertake. Basically the person, if I talked about the entrepreneurship, this is a concept, means this is a process which the entrepreneur used to do the certain thing. Means to innovation, means to productivity, the competition which should be in a proper effective and efficient manner. So definitely there should be in proper entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial rules, we can say. So the ability, the person is having the ability or a capacity of doing certain thing in a business, in a new established business. These activities is known as your entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial things, what an entrepreneur is having. The entrepreneur is an individual. The entrepreneurship is an proper activity, or we can say the concept which is used by an entrepreneur, right? So the entrepreneurship is defined in a various way. There are basically the 4 elements over there. First is innovation, as we discussed earlier. Risk taking, here is a risk taking. In the earlier was a risk taker, right? The risk taker is a person, risk taking is the ability, how we are taking the risk. Then vision, there is a difference between the vision and the mission. Mission is basically the target, anyhow we have to achieve. The vision is if we talk about the vision, basically vision is used in these certain goals and objective. What you want to be, or what your in the business, where the business wants to be in the 5 years. So this is the vision in next coming 5 years, what you want to think over it, and where your thought process is going to be, right? So this is vision. But accordingly, there should be a proper target. I have to achieve the proper mission accordingly. So in this, there is a targeting of any monetary aspect. So this is mission. Ultimately, I want to be I need to get the certain amount with this passage of time. So this is mission. In the race, or if I talk about in the championship, there should be a proper mission over there, not a vision, right? So next is organizing skill. That's why the entrepreneur is an organizer. So organizing thing, that capacity or willing to develop their business, organize their business, managing each and everything in the business, and along with, there should be a proper risk bearer. He can take a risk, right? So risk taker is there. Obviously, if I talked about this, so definitely there should be a proper new business to an entrepreneurship startup, right? Then next is concept of entrepreneurship, right? So concept of entrepreneurship says, first is new market, right? There are five, right? Just wait. Start with this. There are 5 points in, again. Now the next topic is concept of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, basically, there are the several concept of entrepreneurship. There are the 5 concepts. The first one is new product. Introduction of new product means new quality or a product in a, not in a familiar, means there is some modification. So definitely, so that modification creates a new product. Then use of new methods of production. Methods of production means how we are manufacturing. Basically, it is founded by this new discovery of making the product or handling the product, right? So that is new methodology, or we can say the new methods. Next is new market. Now, if I talk about the new market, definitely the entire entrepreneurship requires a market where the product is manufactured, right? And there are so many question is entertaining on it. So definitely the new market is established. Definitely there are several questions not previously entertained behind it. So this is not the exist. This is not an existing one. This is a new market one, definitely. The next is new sources. So if I talked about the raw material, from where we are getting these raw material, where the raw material is supplying. So definitely there are so many sources with the help of these raw material is supplying over there. Last one is new organization. Overall, if I talked about the new product, right, new market, new sources, so accordingly we are having a new organization or an enterprise. So definitely it is only when we use the concept of entrepreneurship, right? The next is, and if I talked about the conclusion of these entrepreneurship or enterprise. So entrepreneur is a person, enterprise is an entire activity or the process, and the enterprise is an object. Definitely enterprise is an object of a building, right? And that building is run by an individual. So that's why it is an object. Okay, got the points of entire entrepreneur, entrepreneurship and enterprise. Now what, there are some real entrepreneurs. As you all know, we are clear with the concept of entire entrepreneur, entrepreneurship and all. So there are some real pictures of entrepreneur. First is Wipro Technologies, chairman of Wipro Technologies. He's also the entrepreneur. He established the entire Wipro. It is the largest software company in India, and he got the Padma Bhushan award in 2005 itself. Next is Dhirubhai Ambani, as we all know, the owner of the Reliance company. He's also a great example of an entrepreneur. The next is Tata and Sons, right? He launched Air India International, He received Bharat Ratna Award in 1992. As if I talked about the Infosys, it is also the big company of technologies, right? So he's a chairman or a chief mentor of an Infosys. Next is Bajaj Group. Rahul Bajaj is a person who is the founder of Bajaj Group, and he's a good leader of a new business. So he's also a category of an entrepreneur. So as we all know, we can just, yes, you can do it. Definitely think positive, as this line is very much important in your entire career. Every big enterprise starts with a small dream. So keep dreaming. Thank you, class. Have a good day.